What's good, everybody? It's your boy Jimmy James 59, and this is going to be a fun one. Ever since the Dynasties of India expansion came out, the Elephant Archer, which was once exclusive to the civilization we used to know as the Indians, is now a shared regional unique unit between the Dravidians, Gujaras, and the Bengalis. Now, the fact that this is the case has led a lot of people, I've seen a lot of threads on Reddit that have dealt with this. A lot of folks are wondering if the Elephant Archer should be available to civilizations outside of the Indian subcontinent. Now, there's a couple ways to tackle this, and I'm going to discuss those here before jumping into the video itself. One is to think about historical accuracy. Now, I will say I'm not a historian, and so I'm not going to pretend to be one. I'm sure there's a lot of folks out there in the comment section who probably know more about history than I do. That being said, I will think about it a little bit, but in some cases, I'm going to disregard some of it because my basic understanding is that when it comes to the Middle Ages, elephant archers were primarily used by civilizations on the Indian subcontinent. And actually not used all that much, say, in Southeast Asia. So that's something that I'm gonna use a little bit more liberty in discussing, because what I do want to think about is how access to the Elephant Archer will affect a civilization's strategy and gameplay. I want to put that foremost in terms of my own calculations. And so I'm going to go ahead, we'll jump into things. I want to do this by region, and I want to think about, first I'm actually going to divide things into the Middle East and North Africa, then Central Asia, then Southeast Asia, and then I may have a little bonus section, so definitely stay tuned. Let's get into it. So we're going to talk about Middle East and North Africa. Let's actually start off with Africa just in general as a continent. Basically, there is an argument that I think that North African civilizations might have access to the Elephant Archers just because if we go back to, say, the time period that takes place in Age of Empires 1, the Carthaginian Empire had access to elephants. I don't know if they actually use elephant archers, but again, we're not thinking too much about history. What's important is that there was a period in time when elephants were used in warfare in North Africa. That being said, I think that by the Middle Ages, that kind of wasn't happening all that much, really anywhere in Africa, and so we can't really use history there anyways. Now, I don't think that this really matters because even if we think about the gameplay, I don't think that elephant archers would really fit any of the civilizations very well. The Berbers are meant to be more of a fast mobile army, and you're not really getting any archer bonuses anyways. And one of the things I think about the elephant archer, if a civilization gets it, it should fulfill some kind of a role or be unique among the sample of civilizations that do get elephant archers. So Berbers I don't think really fits it. Ethiopians are built around foot archers, and Malians already have kind of a muddled and confusing identity. And I think the elephant archer probably just adds to more confusion than elucidating, any kind of identity of the civilization. So I would actually just rule out all of the African civilizations from receiving the elephant archer. Now, if we slide up to the Middle East, one civilization that does stand out as a possible candidate are the Persians, right? One of the classic Age of Empires 1 civilizations with elephant archers, and this is the original Age of Empires 2 elephant civilization. Now, I like the idea of bringing the elephant archer to the Persians for this reason. Basically, this elephant archer would be the one that gets all of the bonuses, but you'd miss Bracer, right? And that'd actually be kind of interesting because this is a really, really tanky unit. And so I think that the civilization could benefit from it because cavalry archers with Persians are actually kind of okay, but because they're sort of a backline unit that's weak to units like scorpions, maybe even onagers, I think cavalry archers with Persians are really, really situational, whereas elephant archers could step in there, tank a lot of damage from siege, and be that big, puffy unit that can absorb a lot of damage. Now, presumably it might benefit from Mahouts, which is the technology that makes war elephants faster. It might not benefit from it. That would be something we'd have to think about. I personally would love to see that technology changed, and I'm going to deal with that in part 4 of my If I Could Change One Thing About Each Civilization series. So definitely follow the channel if you want to be notified when that comes out. So regardless, I think I'd like to see Persians get the elephant archers. Let's vote yes on that one. Now, when it comes to Central Asia, I really think there's only one candidate here, and that's the Tatars, right? There is some evidence that the Timurid Empire used elephants versus the Ottomans after, basically picking them up following battles against Southeast Asian civilizations, which of course we know made a lot of use of elephants. That being said, we got to think about how elephant archers factor into the gameplay. And with Tatars, elephant archers would be freaking insane, right? You'd have free thumb ring, free Parthian tactics, a ton of upgrades, extra line of sight, right? Presumably they'd be affected by Silk Road, but even without Silk Road, you're getting 8 pierce armor and a bunch of free techs, 9 pierce armor, right? I mentioned in a previous video, I think that elephant archers are going to get a little bit of a buff in the summer balance updates, so this would just be a much better unit. I will say I'm not against it per se. I kind of like incorporating elephants to reflect the fact that, that is kind of what happened some in history. But I just think that Tatars are really known as the cavalry archer civilization. I think the elephant archers might actually wind up being too strong, and I think you might have to nerf other parts of the civilization to balance it out. So I gotta say, on the whole, the verdict's in. I'm against the Tatars receiving elephant archers. Now, when we go to Southeast Asia, right, this is where it gets really, really interesting. Let's think about the identity of each civilizations and see which one might fit. So if we think about the Burmese, I think this could be actually pretty interesting. The Burmese are a civilization that's really hard to go crossbow skirmishers with them because you miss the second archer upgrade, and so you just can't tank very much damage at all. Having access to the elephant archer, though, would really actually give the Burmese a unit with some staying power at the archery range. Yeah, missing a pierce armor would kind of suck, but Burmese elephants already are getting additional pierce and melee armor as a civ bonus, and even more as a Castle Age unique technology. This would allow the Burmese elephant archer to be a pretty decent option at the archery range, and I like it for the civilization's versatility. It's not that uncommon in the game that for civilizations that have a really weak crossbow line, that they also do have something else at the archery range, right? The Spanish have pretty decent cav archers, and also the Conquistador that they can go for sort of a ranged cavalry archer type unit. And Bulgarians get really good heavy cavalry archers, and so that's another civilization that misses crossbows. Burmese, they could have an option, and I kind of like the civilization having an option, though elephant archers I think are much more situational, neither foot archers or cavalry archers, but it'd still be nice to see. So I'll go ahead and give it a yes. Now, if we look at the Malay, right? This civilization's claim to fame regarding its elephants is that they're cheap, right? Elephant archers are -30 and -40% of a discount. Would that be OP for elephant archers? Yeah, it probably would, right? You're only missing Parthian tactics with the civs, so that would be a really cheap unit. Now, if you reduce the discount on elephants as a whole, I suppose that would be fine, but then that would also nerf Malay battle elephants, right? And that's the thing. Malay battle elephants, because you're missing the second cavalry armor upgrade, well, that makes things kind of difficult, I think, because now all of a sudden you would have, battle elephants that, in order to be used, really rely on that big discount. So that's pretty tough. Now, I do think that there is something in this civilization where it could benefit from elephant archers, because the civilization to me feels like a very slow push civilization, and elephant archers probably fit that. However, I'm just not sure the civilization would overall benefit, given that you'd probably have to nerf elephants in general, or just not have this as a bonus supply, and if that's the case, it becomes a pretty generic unit. So, obviously not all elephant bonuses for a civ need to affect both battle elephants and elephant archers, but I think we really need to make the elephant archer a unique option, either in terms of affecting the gameplay or, like I said, in terms of the sort of universe, or rather the sample of Elephant Archer civs taken from the universe of civs in the game. And I just don't feel like it's very interesting. Elephant Archers are really situational, and so I think you need that strong bonus because they're very expensive and difficult to wield. With melee, it just feels kind of pointless, so that's a no on melee. Now, if we take a look at the Khmer elephant's claim to fame is that they're a lot faster, right? That's built into the civilization now, and I gotta say, I think it's really interesting, right? We don't really have the fast Elephant Archer civilization, and that would be pretty neat, I think. I think the Khmer could fill that identity fairly well. Khmer also have a technology called Tusk Swords that gives their battle elephants more attack. Could you give Elephant Archers more attack? I don't know. Again, not every technology that affects battle elephants need to affect Elephant Archers, though it is worth noting you do miss Thumb Ring and Parthian tactics, so maybe a little bit more attack would help the unit be more useful. I don't know, but again, I like the idea, right? However you have to change the civ, right? Fast Elephant Archers that can get in there quickly, that would be pretty interesting, and I think that the Khmer's food bonus would actually really help them get there. I think this could be a very strong move that the Khmer could have in their playbook. So yes on Khmer. Now, if we think about the Vietnamese, right, the last of our Southeast Asian civilizations, here's the Vietnamese archers' claim to fame is you get 20% more HP. Now that would be a really interesting bonus, and again, would give Vietnamese elephant archers the identity of being the ones with the highest HP in the game. Now, the Vietnamese also have a technology that gives battle elephants 100 more HP. I think this will be pretty OP for hypothetical Vietnamese elephant archers. So I think the only way you could have them be affected would be to change the technology. And again, it's kind of the same situation as melee, where you'd also then kind of have to nerf their battle elephants, and I don't think I'd want to do that. So I do think that even if you just had the 20% more HP from the archery range, Vietnamese elephant archers would be pretty strong. There is kind of a discussion similar, I think, to what we might think about Tatars, is that, can you have a civilization that has two, right, of the cavalry archer unit, the cavalry archer itself and the elephant archer? I'm not all that much against that because, like I said, I think that they perform very different roles. One's a food gold unit, one is a wood gold unit, one is mobile, hit and run, right? Pairs really well with hussars. And the other, well, I think we're kind of trying to figure out still what you pair elephant archers with, other than maybe just like mangonels to deal with skirmishers or something. So I do think that there would be some changes needed to the Vietnamese civilization because your tech tree is really open with this civ. You have so many options, and you would just have a really yoked archery range if you were to add this unit. I don't know. I just think you have to adjust the civilization to get this in, and I'm really mixed on this one. So let's call Vietnamese our first maybe. Now, lastly, I want to look on the Indian subcontinent, and this is kind of a two-parter here, right? So let's actually talk about the civilization that used to have elephant archers, the Hindustanis, right? Should they get them back, right? Now we're dealing more with like North India, really kind of approximating into Central Asia, actually, right? We could almost include this in our region with the Tatars, but we'll keep it Northern India, right? We'll separate it. Now, this is tricky, right? Right now, Hindustanis are the only Indian subcontinental civilization to have cavalry archers. Does fit with the civilization's history of having a more Turkish flavor. I think in the grand scheme of things, I gotta say, I think there's more important things to worry about with balancing the Hindustanis, and it's really hard to argue that they should also get elephant archers. Even if the use of elephants in war in Central Asia and Northern India is established, I think we gotta think about the game first. I also think that, the Hindustanis need a lot of work, despite the fact that I think that they're closer to where they were prior to the Dynasties of India expansion. I still think that they need a little bit more work to get them to a comfortable place, and in terms of their development and their identity as a civ. The question is whether elephant archers should be a part of that. I don't know. I think I like the Hindustanis not receiving elephant archers. To me, the much bigger issue is that they lack fully upgraded cavalry archers, right? Both for gameplay and historical reasons. So I wouldn't go for it. Maybe you could do something with the Shatagni technology, that if you did give them elephant archers, you could modify it so it could help them, but I don't know. I just don't think it really fits the civilization, and so my opinion here is more that the Hindustanis should be more of the cavalry archer civilization of the Indian subcontinent, and they not receive elephant archers. Now, I said that I'm going to do something a little bit interesting, and let's flip the script on it here in the Indian subcontinent. Are there any civilizations that currently have them, right, the elephant archer, that shouldn't have them, right? The Bengalis, Dravidians, and Gujaras. Should one of these civilizations lose the elephant archer? To me, the only candidate I think are the Gujaras. My understanding of the civilization's history is that Gujaras are actually kind of a cavalry archer civilization themselves, very similar to the Hindustanis, and so that would definitely be a candidate to lose the elephant archer here. I'm actually not opposed to Gujaras having the unique identity of having both the elephant archer and the cavalry archer. Again, I know it's one of these civilizations. What we're talking about giving Gujaras more stuff. Trust me, if we did that, we'd need to take something away from the Gujaras for sure. That in and of itself is probably a whole other video. Oh wait, in fact, I actually did a video making predictions about what that would happen. I'll put that link at the end of this one. Now, that's a prediction video and not necessarily what I want to have happen to the civilization. But that being said, we're getting a little off track. Gujaras are probably a civilization that could lose the elephant archer, so I could definitely see that happening. I think when it comes to Bengalis and Dravidians, both of the civilizations, I think the elephant archer actually is a nice place for the civilization. I mean, with the Dravidians, right, you have the faster firing, and that can actually be really strong if you get a good mass of them. It can be very hard to touch them. And they also have regenerative HP. Some people don't like that tech. I actually kind of do like it, I'm going to say. I think that, the struggle with it is that it can be tough to take advantage of it, disengaging from battles. But the fact that you have so much HP, I actually think that gives a regeneration technology a lot of potential value if you are in a more slow-paced battle. Now, when it comes to the Bengalis, I think they definitely still need the elephant archer because they just don't really have hardly anything else in their tech tree. So to take it away would leave the cupboard pretty bare. So anyways, with that being said, right, that's the video. Do you agree? Do you disagree with any of the thoughts on the civilizations that should get it? And the civilizations, right, whether any should lose it, like perhaps the Gujaras, right? That being said, right, I'm going to go ahead in this video here, right? Hope you really enjoyed it. Definitely follow the channel if you did. Like the video, leave a comment. With that being said, I'll check you guys out later, and I'll see you out there in the ladder. Peace.